last episode, we started the 5th class trial, and so yeah, let's just go ahead, get back into it. I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing. Are you thinking of raising an objection? Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue. Whatever you want, somebody go ahead and help him out. Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at, well, it was after nighttime for sure, so I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m. Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body. Oh, but what time did we find the body? The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? When she went to go get the pickaxe. So what time was the body discovered? It was at 9. The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m. since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe. Hold on, I'm gonna save real quick just in case. Okay. Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock, so it's probably 9 on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01. He's right, it had to be around then. So we can be totally sure that the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning. For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning. We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around, oh yeah, right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it. That's right, I was kind of alone. Excuse me. I was kind of alone by herself, waiting for me. No, she's not a murderer. I believe in her after last trial. Like, no. I don't want to believe how I did it. Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi. The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. And I don't have an alibi from 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Okay then, it looks like the game has begun. If I can't provide an alibi for that period, you can maybe try to prove that the body was murdered after 7:30, because you have an alibi for after then. So if you can prove the murder took place after then you're safe. Alright, then I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I don't have an alibi. To do that, I have to make it clear when the body ended up in the garden. Yeah. I think the sprinklers kind of point to it being, yeah, the sprinklers point to it being after 7:30. Makoto doesn't have an alibi. We've established that. Between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning. Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time. Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30. Maybe the sprinklers. I could do that right there. That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. There's something that happens in the garden at the same time every morning. Thinking back, the corpse was almost totally dry, in which case I should be able to figure out when the body must have appeared in the garden. Yep, the sprinklers. Okay, I think, oops, no, that. I think we need to do this one. Oops, wrong button. Oh no, really? Come on, Makoto, don't scare me like that. Okay, maybe I need to do the other time. Oh, right there, yeah. Counter. Actually, the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked. Hold on, I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet, dripping wet, in fact. Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong. I'm wrong. How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words? Oh, Toko. Yeah. No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers. Yeah, because we put out the body with the bucket of water. What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence? Man, you're totally wacko. If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why. I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. Yeah, you put water on the body when it kind of blew up and caught fire. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence, and that should do it. If we look at the body itself, that should make it clear. Moment of truth. This thing, okay. 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 Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, final strike. Body analysis. Okay. Got it. Break. Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. Bottom half was dry. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet? So they only got the top wet. The bottom was completely dry. What a brutal maniac. I'm so sick of her. Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because... Yeah, while the body was still on fire, I doused it with the water, but only the part on fire, the top half. Oh, then I guess the sprinkler really didn't do it. So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning, which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9. But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right? So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you. In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko. Kyoko's the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Mukuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone. I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. But if you did do it and we don't vote for you, then we all die. Which is why I can't let that happen. Huh? So are you saying you're not the culprit? Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. A trap. We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting energy. You really think your little trick is gonna work? Shut up, you. You got it, boss. Shutting up now. Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her. She did. She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, you were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting. So that was her motive. If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit. I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient. The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did. What are you? Yeah, the murder could have maybe happened somewhere else at some other time and then just brought in, right? Because you see, there's a way the body could have avoided getting wet. Interesting, I'm listening. There's also the tarp, yeah. All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet. A certain something at the scene was used to cover the body. What could have been? The tarp. And what's the deal with the chicken? I'm still waiting for that to come into play. You're talking about the tarp, aren't you? You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. But then, when would we have removed the tarp? Because by 7:30, right when the sprinklers went off, we were already with Aoi. And when Toko found the body, there was no tarp on it. So, yeah, there's no way we had removed the tarp. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked. But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet? Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us. Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp, if it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? Yeah, but there's no blood. And the blood was still wet, right? But the body... Wait, something's not right. And what might that be? I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Yeah, so I think we can refute it by either saying that there was no blood on the tarp, and I believe according to the file, the blood was still wet, right? The body analysis, I think. No, maybe not. I remember seeing somewhere that the blood was still wet. Let's see, where was it at? Maybe, yeah, right there. But the blood was still wet, so if it was still wet, it would have gotten on the tarp. But the tarp was clean. So we can either refute it that way, or by saying, when would we have removed the tarp? Because the tarp would have had to have been put on the body like before 7:30 and removed after 7:30. But we have an alibi from like 7:30 to when the body was found. And when the body was found, there was no tarp on the body. So somebody else would have had to have removed the tarp. And I think the only ones without an alibi for around that time is Toko and Kyoko. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, make your argument. reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet. But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right? It says because it's protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty. Oops, wrong one. Okay, yes, I see, that's what you're saying. I have absolutely no idea. I need to think about it one more time. Contradiction there somewhere. Okay, I think it should be only dirty on one side. Maybe that one. Crap, got blocked. Underside of the tarp, totally spotless, right? Protected from the water. Facing down the body. Of course, didn't get dirty. I remember the blood on the body hadn't dried yet. Byakuya even warned us not to touch it to avoid getting any blood on us. Yeah, so the bottom should have been dirty. Only dirty on one side. But I wonder which one do we gotta do? Spotless. Is that side protected from the water? Okay, I think it's the first option, maybe. Okay. Nope, okay, next one. No, we're losing hearts, damn it. Losing hearts. Okay, gotta get our head in the game. No, still no, what? Oh yes, I see what you're saying, I have absolutely no idea. What? Come on, no. Am I doing the right one? Exploded body. Oh, body before the explosion had the wrong truth bullet lined up. Oh my god, really? Body before the explosion. Is that protected from the water? Didn't get dirty. Is it that one? Yeah, there you go. Freaking had the wrong bullet in. Didn't even notice. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself not to touch it or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it. Well, maybe the culprit washed it so nobody would know they used it. If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything. Oh yeah, true. More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage? Huh? The blood was camouflage. What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim? You mean someone else's blood? Where would they have gotten something like that? I know they could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead. No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden. The chicken. They killed the chicken and used the blood from the chicken. And did they maybe feed the chicken to that big ass plant that was in there? To get rid of the chicken body. Excuse me, to get rid of the chicken body. So is that how the chicken comes into play? They got blood from right there in the garden, right? Which would mean chickens. Could have been chicken blood. What? Chicken blood? When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4. So you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up. Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it. I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory. Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water, and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean. I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand. They covered it beforehand. When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would? I think so. Was it on backwards? Or something? Wait, no, the head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves. Oh, okay. Then that settles it. Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up what settles what. Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then later, at the same time, the killer was gathering up the tarp. They pulled the coat over the body, the coat that had already been covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off at 7:30. She's really trying to pin it on me, which kind of makes me think she did it. Which, yeah, I mean, I was suspecting her before, but if that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier. But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off? Yeah. That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult. They already had the coats ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coats over the body. They'd be done in no time, maybe, but still. Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on? Oh no, I headed off to the gym and Makoto didn't show up till later. Then you had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say? That's not. Don't bother saying it's not possible. I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate. And the suspicion falls back on me again. I mean, Toko was alone by herself as well. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. This guy's dead body has been added to the Truth Bullock section of your handbook. Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko. For serious, man, which of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin, 50-50 odds. Oh, see, a pretty good idea, right? No, not that. I just remembered something super serious. Well, don't just stand there, out with it. You know the knife we found all black and burnt? We had the knife. Damn, the one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through from front to back. So, what about it? I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered. Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Me? It's the knife we gave to Makoto. You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier. Yeah. Then why did you hide that fact? It's not that I hid it, it's just... I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her. Suspicious, very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced. Considering everything up to now, I should be able to was found. What was it called again? Might just be at the end. Yeah, disguised dead body. The murder took place before the sprinklers turned on. The suspect covered the body with a tarp to prevent it from getting wet. Later, when they removed the tarp, the suspect placed the white jacket on the body. This jacket had previously been treated with blood to make it look like the corpse had been wearing it. Okay, we still need to talk about the stuff we found in the locker. Stuff, so yeah. Oh man. Make your argument. Ah, crap. Okay. This guy's dead body exploded. Body analysis. Fragments near the dead body. The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that. If he did have that knife before then, that seals it. Makoto did it. Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer. Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took the knife of yours and killed her with it. What a horrible man you are, Makoto. I guess if maybe we can prove... we've already established that the coat was put on the body after the tarp was removed. Which means when the knife was thrust through the coat into the body, yeah, the body was already dead. Disguised dead body. I think that's what we need to do, right? Disguised. Disguised dead body, maybe that. I was afraid of that. And, they didn't have a knife killer before. It says Makoto did it. That's what killed her, right? Maybe not. Counter. Break. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard. Lies. We never talked about what killed her. No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead. Okay, fine, so what? So when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point. She wasn't stabbed. Obviously, the stab wound isn't what killed her. Maybe he stabbed her twice, once to kill her and once to cover it up. The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot. No, there's no way that's possible. And let me go ahead and save Justin. Oh, I can't save. Okay, great. The exact condition of the body was written down for everyone to see. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife. Boom. The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound. Can we save now, please? Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that. Then the knife was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Was it the blow to the head? And is that why they rigged the body to explode? Was to prevent us from figuring that out? Right, because the truth bullets struck in the head. Yeah, so maybe. Yeah, they tried blowing up the body to hide the fact that the body had like head wounds. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime. So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise. Oh hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that? If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer. Well, if you're so smart, just tell me. I'll tell ya. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion. I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that. Go ahead, Makoto, tell her, or we won't make any headway on this. There's only one explanation I can think of for the explosion. It was this. It should be noted the bomb had been removed from Monokuma. The gym had disappeared. How's this? After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion. I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before. That's only natural because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb. Oh, then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb. Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury, so that we suspect Makoto. And the only one who'd benefit from that is the only other possible suspect, you, Kyoko. Hold on a second, Byakuya. What's the problem? Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim. That's true. It's definitely bugging me what really killed her. Fine, I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. And that's where we're gonna stop today's video. I feel like they're kind of brushing over the fact that Toko was alone as well. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it is Kyoko, and especially seeing how hard she's trying to pin it on me just kind of makes me suspect her even more. But yeah, I guess we'll just find out. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching.